Okay, what have we got for today? Um, what I would like to do is take you through couple of steps that I'm going through every week. This is a Monday, so on a Monday morning, I have to do a couple of things. Of course, it's professional gambling. Okay, we are into football. We are into professional gambling again, and yeah, it takes a couple of things to you simply yeah. I mean, if you wish to do that yourself, or people might be dreaming of being professional gamblers, and what they think is open up the window, money is raining in, and you don't have to do anything. It's far from that. It's a job like many others, and it's actually a more busy job than others are. Maybe you can do by, yeah, I don't know, somehow getting lucky, or you have a different approach. I just have mine. I don't know any others, or if I knew them, I don't know about their success, or yeah, how good it is. I don't know. Can't judge that, but maybe people, at least I can say I know some professionals, and usually they have a lot of work to do. And if you, we could talk about other sports. Okay, so what are the steps? I'm going through a minor league. Maybe you're a bit disappointed about that, but still it shows you, well, all I've got there, or all that is needed, or everything that is okay. No, I shouldn't do that. Okay, so this is Austrian Bundesliga. I mean, it's not such a small league, and I got the table from. Where did I get this table from? Here. I simply, this is Bundesliga.at. That's AT is for Austria. That's Austrian. So I copy this table because I think it's a little nicer than other tables are. And okay, there are a lot of stuff, things open here. And I'm gonna close these, and you have some time maybe. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's Monday morning. As I said, I mean, somewhere I have to enter result. This is a table from internet, so I mean, anyone could get that and has access to that. So far, it's not telling a lot. I mean, I could talk about the teams and the preseason assessments, evaluations, what market thought, what I thought. I'm gonna close these. Sorry for not having done that before. And of course, Austria, Vienna, everyone might know, and they are pretty low, so of course they didn't expect that. But it was not what I wanted to show to you. Going through those steps, and of course I will comment on that somewhere. I'm preparing, so to say, a preview for next week, and trying to find some good bets for next week. And for that we have to do a couple of things. First of all, I did enter, of course, the stats at some point. Where am I gone now? I had to enter some stats to even get there, but that happened on a Sunday, so you can't stop working on a Sunday as well. And at some point I have to enter all the pairings, and you have to keep up to date all the kickoff times, because they are being changed, and especially in winter we have now, or the rescheduled games are on, so you have to keep track of that. Anyway, this is most likely not what I'm looking for. I have to open some files now, okay? Excel files. They had been exported before from my database. I think I may have showed you my database as well, where I'm entering all that stuff. There I have a small problem with my, it's not quite, the the date. I have to run parallels and stuff like that. I'm going to show you here quickly. Here's my own database, right? And here I'm entering all the results. As soon as you see a ja here, it means result has been entered. Mainz against Schalke, of course, had been played on Friday. It was a 0-1. I entered the time when the goal has been scored after 55 minutes. So I have to enter that. Here I see some updates of the teams. I see the current table, how many points they have and so on, expectancies for this game and stuff like that. And I'm going to enter that because I'm keeping track of all the results, of course. I have the tables in here. Then I have a preview for that. Bayern HSV, of course, it's been played now. But you can see here, review the last results from Bayern and so on. So, and I'm compiling the prices. Computer does it for me. I adjust them in case I think something's wrong there. See adjustments of the teams. So I'm entering anyway. I have all those data here. I'm trying to point out now why I'm doing this. I want to, of course, catch some attention for that because it's a job I'm doing for 30 years, you could say, more or less, and of course you have some expertise in that, or you're gaining some, and or accumulate some, and you also have some knowledge, understanding of football. But what I think is, when we see reviews here or previews of football games or things like that, people they have no idea what they're talking about. In England it's a lot better than in Germany, but at least what are the chances and you know, what would you have to expect? And when a game goes on and they are disappointed why these teams they are not playing so well, it's all about, you know, how well could you expect them to be. There's home advantage, how many goals could you expect, how many shots on goal, how many corners, things like that, and I can show you how many I would expect, and how much actually, because it's a dot. I have 3.48 corners or things like that, so you cannot record 3.48 corners. You have either 3 or 4 or maybe even 10. Anyway, and this trying to give you this insight. I'm trying to catch attention. And maybe people say, well, give me this guy. I want to know more about that because there's a lot more, and I'm absolutely sure people would like to know that. It's not just in the respect of making money with it. If I've done so over my life, or 30 years, I'm a professional gambler. I started in 83, I would say, 84, with backgammon and stuff. But all the calculations, blackjack, I've done the calculations on my own. And I wrote a program. I've written a program for that to prove my strategy is right and so on. Other people have done that, of course. But I made some. I of course I experimented with some things also in backgammon. I worked out some then new things. Entering the results here. Oh no. Why I'm doing this? Catch attention, and maybe at some point someone says, okay, we want to know that, and the world would like to know that, what's going on there, what is really going on. And okay, I am entering the results, and I also have to enter all those. Okay, now I'm not into Monday, this is Sunday's work maybe, but I have to enter all these shots, on target, corners. This is, I mean, if you're German, okay, Torschüsse, but this is English, it's shots on goal, and this is shots on target. Stuttgart had 11 shots, Leipzig 9, on target was just 1, here it has been 3, here I see how many I expected, right? So I'm not that far away, 10.83, they had 11, so I'm very close. Leipzig had less than expected. And also on target, they were both pretty, but anyway, this is not what I want to show you. I have to enter that. Also possession, I was very close, 46.52 expected. 46.36 was what they had. Crosses, there had been quite a couple, and so on. But I have to enter that before I can export these data. And I'm doing this for a couple of leagues. I've done a few more, but I've restricted to because it's too much work. And to 6 leagues now. Anyway, Austrian Bundesliga has been entered. This I also find on this page, Bundesliga.at, that I showed you. And enter this, and then I'm exporting it because I need an Excel file, right? So I'm gonna enter this and open these files here. And this is what I'm saying. I have a problem with it's to keep. It doesn't matter for you now. I have to search a bit, but I'm experienced in that. It says here without date because they are not quite harmonized. The two system parallels running here. So anyway, I have to open 7 files in total. And now I'm gonna show you one more thing. This is, I find here, for example, I can anywhere I can access those tables, but I can do it here, and I have some statistic button that gives me some stats about this league. And actually, this is a lot more also that people would be interested in. And they, opening wrong file, preview 27. So this is where we started, and I'm copying these. Actually, I spilled my. No. Sorry, I have to. Man, don't cry about spilled milk because it's spilled already. But it's coming close to my cables and stuff here. The worst thing that can happen, really. It's not on the keyboard yet. Worst thing you can do, right? Keep a milk. This iron, right? I can show you here so you can. I'm drinking an iron this morning or every morning, actually. And keep it next to the keyboard. Rather don't. No, really. This is a mess. This is a mess. And I don't want to pause the video or things like that. And you can follow all my... Who's perfect? Nobody's perfect. What was it? And what is it? Imperfect. I don't know what. Not perfect. What is the opposite of being perfect? Imperfect. No idea really. Jan Gustafsson could tell us, right? Grandmaster. And he knows all those idioms and things like that. It's really impressive. Watch his videos about chess. You have to be into chess, but maybe some of you viewers are into chess as well. Yesterday I watched his show about the candidates tournament being held here in Berlin right now, and all the top players in the world are playing here. And he was with a company of Zopiko Guramishvili, I don't know. But she was very nice, beautiful, and sympathetic, and she also saw a lot of things. So anyway, you didn't wish to know that, but I had to keep you tuned somehow. And I'm really angry, but I think I could just avoid major damage here, because it did not really hit the electronic part of my equipment here. And yeah, no really, okay. What a great video I'm recording here. So, don't cry about spilled milk. That's one of these proverbs and sayings. Why wouldn't you have to cry about it? Because it's spilled already, as I said. Okay, stay tuned, did I say that? Okay, I'm gonna copy these data over here. And okay, this is all part of my work, it's regular work, but of course it's something to say as well, and I would usually do that somewhere else, but I'm just to give you an insight here. I've actually 2 systems compiling these odds and prices just to compare them, and also to 2 algorithms, but they are a bit similar, of course. They are acquainted, you could say. But the new one I introduced a couple of years ago, the new one is more sophisticated, so it ought to be better, of course. Yeah, if you move on, time moves on. It's you're gonna improve, of course. You're not trying to make a minor, less valuable development later on, right? So anyway, this is more sophisticated. It takes in the chances and shots and things like that, and crosses and corners, and so on. But yeah, of course, it needs to prove it's better. But anyway, I need them to compare. And this old system here is running for, yeah, as I said, I developed it in 1990, but I was actually starting the old system in 82, 83. I started at university because I was much more into, my maths I was doing, but I was much more in the computer room, and then I... okay, I started with this system, somehow simulation. But you could also say I started as a child already, because I've done all those stats and things already when I was little. And okay, anyway, it says here 58.5 home wins expected, 60 that had been coming. The draws, 30.7 expected, 32 coming, 40.7 away wins. You see, this is, of course, yeah, I'm pretty close. This is also here saying the average price. This is percentage, the reverse of the percentage, right? So anyway, I'm pretty close in this league, but it doesn't mean a lot. But anyway, you check those, and goal average. You have to keep track of all those developments. I was expecting 2.723, and there had been 2.80, so a couple of more goals coming. And home advantage, I was very close. I was very right about that. And yeah, you always compare that, and you say, okay, I'm happy, it's going well. And of course, the table itself, the way it's sorted here, it's not quite reflecting how well this teams played, and also not how they had been assessed pre-season, right? You would have the regular order should actually be always RB, of course. They got most money always into, yeah, okay, RB. We all know Red Bull. We can say that in Austria. They have a problem when they play in Europe, because they have to say FC Salzburg, because they are not allowed to, yeah, to bring that in. Anyway, it's they are sponsored. Okay, then we would have Rapid in Austria, and then we would have Sturm in 4th place, and then there's the tough battle. And actually, Altach would have been closest now, but St. Pölten won promotion last year, and they should be lowest, but they could also be somewhere here, but they are very low this week. Anyway, it's just you have to compare the table with expectancies, and also with expectations. You can say that is what supporters would expect, and expectancies are rather the discrete or the exact values what I would expect in goals and points and so on. But yeah, fans have expectations, and the computer has expectancies. But the fans would usually not well, they would hope, for Rapid fans would hope they win the title. Once again, Austria fans might hope, but they are a lot less than Rapid, because they are the more popular club somehow. Anyway, Sturm, that's Graz, that's a bit 200 kilometers away from Wien, but it's still a big city, so they would like to challenge them, and they had been able to Ivica Osem when they won the title a couple of times in the 90s somewhere. Oh, they won other titles as well. Anyway, forget about all that. If you wish to know a bit better what I'm doing here, these stats are okay. I've done that now. Okay. Now you would like to see my really ugly old face, or you wouldn't, but you have to put up with it. I'm entering now. This is something I have to prepare, so to say. But I could skip that for now, because it would rather show you how much more work it is, but not being of any. Lots of figures you can see here on my screen, and they all have something to say. And if you want to have a look at it, or I could explain it, or I could also yeah, explain the meaning, but also squeeze something out. What you would, something really interesting about. But it's not what we're doing now. What did we do? We wanted to check the goal average, so I can check it here again because I'm entering this by hand right now. That's 2.80. I could have remembered it, of course. And this I have to enter here. You would like to forget about that because I could record this, of course. It doesn't matter much. I have to prepare something now, and I have to This is me mouse now. Where's me mouse? And I thought I would also record it for myself somehow. I mean, record it on tape here, so that I could check one day how much ugly stuff I had been doing. This is stats for every single team, and how this develops and compared to league average and things like that, and goals and how many goals expected, how many they should have scored, how many they did score in the end. And now it's just files I have to prepare here, but I'm gonna work out the best possible just have to copy the formats over here, and now I can. This is something. I mean, it's the best table you could get if when trying to. What I'm checking here is every week the development of the standard deviation as well, but that needs some deeper understanding. But usually these values are going up, but if you compare them as well, but it's also a bit more sophisticated. Anyway, this I have to sort now, and column F, not G. No, I'm never making these errors because I want to be a bit quicker than I usually. Because not to get you bored here, and I'm gonna store this file again as an Excel sheet, and I need that again. But for now I need this ranking here. I have to replace it, and that's all. And now I'm gonna copy this over, and apart from that, I have to do this work. I have to do something with that work. I have to make use of it. And this is what I can show you here now. Or rather, I've shown that in some previous video somewhere. But we can have a look now. This is what it's ordered by. So order by or sorted by. This is the difference they should have played. So the goals they should have scored minus the ones they should have conceded. And this is plus 29. Here you can see they even scored plus 35. This is 54 minus 19. So they had been lucky for this amount of goals. They did not play as well as plus 35. That's what it's saying here. Still, they played by far and wide. They were the best because they were 20 goals better than Rapid, who are still in second. So Rapid played better than Sturm, although they are 11 points behind. And Sturm just played at plus 7, but you can see here those teams are still lucky in terms of goal difference they actually have compared to the one they should have had. Still, you see here it's pretty close, but they just scored some more goals. But you can also say, well, they do have the better strikers, but therefore for that purpose I have adjustments that usually care for that, so to adjust those figures and to foresee that a bit better. But usually if you have chances, you either take them or you don't, and it doesn't matter that much. And sometimes you get on a good streak and then and you, all of a sudden you hit them, you get them all in, or otherwise you fail to score. Anyway, here you can see who had been lucky or unlucky. The most lucky, the luckiest side had been Mattersburg actually, and they drew again yesterday with Salzburg 2-2. Of course, also a lucky point, but still they played well. Doesn't matter that much, but altogether they have -1, but they should have had, as you see here, -11.7. No, yeah, -11.7. So they had been lucky for 10.7 goals. Second lucky, Admira +1, they should have had. So things like that. Anyway, you see here, this is a very good ranking that's reflecting a lot better how well these teams played. And you just have still get a table in the end. And usually the experts say, yeah, RB played the best and Sturm second best, and then Rapid, they are struggling, and so on. But this is reflecting a lot better what those teams have done. And of course, I can show for every single match that I'm not entering. You know, when you enter a result, it's either right or wrong. So you can compare my table to the one here. And of course, I have the same table, right? So I can't enter a wrong result. Of course, I could at any point enter wrong stats and no one would notice. But why should I do that? And I could show, of course, that, and especially I need to be good at that, right? You see here that all those goal differences, they are right. The points are right. 10 points, 20, 31, 33. So I have the same table here that is here. So I could also copy this table in here because it's the same. I take this one because it's nicer. Anyway, this is how well those teams played. So still, I mean, we could compare it here, or we could compare it with the table up there, or somewhere else, and I will get my ugly face on again. RB played the best, they are top, okay. Rapid played second best, they are third, but they are 11 points behind, they shouldn't be. Sturm played third best, but they are second. Last played pretty well, +6, +5.31. They got what they played at, but still just 39 points. It's, yeah, they could be up there as well. Austria didn't play any good. VAC played a lot better, 9th place here, 20 points only. Here they played better than Altach and some of the others. So most likely they had been unlucky. Yeah, unlucky. Most unlucky side, -16.05. You can see that. So, St. Pölten, most unlucky, although they are still by far the worst. They shouldn't have -44. They played a lot better, and very often they were really unlucky. Also with late goals, and sometimes, when they were about to score a goal themselves, they conceded, and so on. So, of course, these late goals conceded sometimes it's 0-2 already and they lose 0-3 or something like that. So you can concede a lot of meaningless late goals as well. Still, they are recorded here, of course. But they also make people think they are very, very, very bad, and they are only bad, or they are very bad. I'm not turning this into points by now, but I could do that. Anyway, this is my ranking, and I'm doing that every week, and I'm doing that for some other leagues as well. And I'm going to close this file again. I'm going to show you a couple of more things. Now, this is the table now, but it's not the kind of table that you're used to, because it's the kind of table that I'm doing. And that this one is protected here. How do you call it? I don't know. There is a word, of course. I have to. So, okay. This is not a table you're used to, but it's a table that I'm keeping track of. And that is, of course, also about how well they played. But I have to, at some point, I need a, I have to do all this stuff here. Well, at some point, I have to do a calculation, right, for the next match day. I couldn't install this. This is some kind of software, and I need the new Office version anyway. But Well, you can see this ranking now instantly in a second, right? This is the ranking already. That's produced by that. It's produced by stats. Okay. But now that I'm in a bit of a hurry, I feel. So we can store that again. Now, this is the ranking that is, so to say, stored now. This is also based on these stats, but it's using updates. So if a team play regularly well for a couple of weeks and they started very badly, then they may be better than a team that had been good at the start but went down, right? So I'm updating all those figures with the results coming in, right? So if I expect for, as you saw for Stuttgart, 10.83 shots and they record like 11, then of course they played a bit better than I expected. It's meaningless. It could have been 15 shots, then they would have been a lot better. Then I update their values because I have to, because they played better than I expected. So maybe I was wrong with it. So I'm moving. That's like the ELO rating in chess, right? If you play better than you expected to play, if you expected to record 4.5 points out of 9 and you record 6, then you play better. But what else? What other award could you expect? Then you get an upgrade in your rating. And this is the same what happens here. So I'm keeping track of that every week. I have to enter that. And instantly there's an update that takes place. And that is responsible for the sorting of this table. And, well, it's rather a ranking, right? And this is the real ranking. So this is the stored ranking. The one I showed you before. Okay. And, yeah, I don't need that, but I need that. This is my preview, and I'm doing a couple of things here. Anyway, this is the ranking that is basis for the predictions for next week's, weekend's matches, right? Or whenever they play. This is the basis. And you can compare these rankings or compare it with the table. We have the same order here. We have RB in first place. And of course, I mean, by pretty far. And Rapid in second place, still the same. Sturm in third place. You also see here, how far they are apart, right? Lask in fourth, that's also fine. Austria in fifth, also fine. So actually, but Admira, for example, it's not that they played a lot better recently. But they had a very bad start, I have to say. So after a bad start, they went on. They were on a positive run. And also Mattersburg, and they have this guy, Smile Previljak, that I actually even know, by friends, son of a friend, and so on. But anyway, we played with him in the youth. But he's outstanding, and he's scoring all the goals. So they moved up. They are not ninth, but they are seventh, right? They played better, and this 2-2 against RB was another proof for that they improved in this ranking. So they are not ninth best, but they are seventh best. That is closer to, here's what they played all season, and here's where they stand right now, you could say, right? And Altach, WAC, they actually dropped down, so they were okay in the first stages. But then they, seriously went down. So there's quite a gap already. And of course, St. Pölten. But you can also see here the conversion rate. If there is a negative ratio, so to say, that you are worse in converting chances than conceding goals, so to say, right? Then that could always mean you're a bit unlucky. It could also mean, it can also mean you got the bad strikers and they feel uncertain, they don't find the net, and your goalkeeper, he conceded so many goals, so he doesn't know how to stop the shots and so on. But it could also mean bad luck, right? Mattersburg, for example, they have a good conversion rate, but they could easily say, well, this is my player, this is this guy up front, he simply is. And this is, Admira had the best striker, but they sold him now. This was Knaasmüller. And he went to Brighton, or I don't know, in England somewhere. But anyway, he was the best striker. So this is also no wonder that they have a good conversion rate, right? Austria, they are average. So on. Still, I'm just showing you, you can squeeze out something when RB have a better conversion rate. That's what I was trying to say early on. It means they do have the better strikers and they also have the better defenders. Which means in this case, not that they are not allowing so many shots, but the shots they allow usually come from a worse position, right? So if there's still, so imagine a Lask striker coming on goal to RB, right? He's still, well, they defend so well, so they push him to the outside of the area, and he still takes the shots, but it's a worse chance for scoring from there. And so they have the better defenders, also the better goalkeeper. And also up front, they have the best conversion rate, right? But I would keep that going for also next season, while others I would reset. You have to qualify to be a top team. If they have a better conversion rate here, you see that too. Yeah, actually, Admira with this Knaasmüller is now even better. But it can happen. RB, they are not in the air. They are not Bayern Munich yet, or something like that. But still, it also means, if they have a good conversion rate, it also means they do not shoot from outside the area or things like that, right? Because other teams, they get desperate. They don't know how to score. So whenever there's a chance from 25 yards out, they try to shoot. And it's an unlikely goal. But they would, like Barcelona, you can imagine, right? They pass on and they have the strikers there in position and they come closer to goal. And so there are better chances they create. The chances, don't just have the better strikers that take the chances better, but they also create the better chances. So whenever you have a shot, it is more likely to be a goal. It's simple as that. Because they are closer to the goal, you could easily say. Because they pass the ball instead of shooting. Because they also dare to move upwards. Because they get the opponent, they push him back on, so they simply get into the better positions. It doesn't really matter that they have the better strikers. They come closer to goal. So this is what I was trying to point out somewhere. Anyway, this is the ranking that's basis for the, and you can of course argue, or people might say, why do you say Lask are better than Austria? Or they would all say, but why do you say Austria better than Admira in the table? It's not the case at all. There are 7 points between them. Well, 7 points you could still catch up. Anyway, this is one more step. Now we get into some, I even have a home ranking, which is really important. And I'm going to show you this as well. And we have a really lengthy video now. And I don't need to do that. No, I'm a bit, I have to do that. I'm a bit confused. What have I done now? Oh, not confused, but a bit under pressure, I feel. Okay, this is my home ranking. And this home ranking, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much to be top here, or because you're a bottom in away ranking, right? But the sorting order here is the better you are at home, the higher you get in this ranking. I don't want to comment too much on that. But anyway, it also shows me how many, well, here, if there's a big difference between home and away, and you can say at home, they are playing a lot more offensively. There's 8%. Here's a lot bigger difference, right? Rapid at home, you can expect some more goals. If they play on the road, you get rather an under. This is red is, of course, over. This is under. It's just a tendency. Also, St. Pölten at home, very goal dry. And away from home, lots of goals, right? So maybe they play offensively, but they concede goals because home side. Whatever that means, it will turn into some kind of expectancy changes, and maybe that market is not alert enough to take notice of. This is sophisticated. It can also be wrong, because they simply say, well, I know WAC, I know Mattersburg, so if they meet, this is the right price. But you could also say, well, let's have a bit closer look at that, how they really play. And this is home and away. You have to, well, I'm keeping track of that, and that's actually the stored figures as well. So it's doing the calculation on this basis. My computer is doing the calculation. Anyway, I can close this now, and we can come to it's not yet a final step, but it's one more step. And what would that be? Now here is that match day in detail. And I can't show you actually everything in one go. But this is this one match day, and I'm doing a review of this. And I simply have to do that. And because, yeah, it's first of all, you have to, keep that in mind. I mean, when ever you see a team playing well, and then maybe next week, well, either they get a good result, or they get a bad result, or they didn't deserve a bad result, or they didn't deserve a good result, or whatever that is. And this is my review here. And I'm gonna show you myself, sadly, once again. And actually, I have to, well, I didn't even notice yet how well my proposals, I have to say, it's not bets yet, it's just proposals. But anyway, and I'm you know, we had a total of 17 goals, and which is way above, I'm writing about it, but expected, and even more above should. I mean, so 14.57 expected, and just 12.91 that should have come. So limited action, still plenty of goals. I mean, it would sound a bit different if you were not watching, maybe. But now I'm not doing this right now. But I'm just to show you. Alltag, no, very even by stats. So Alltag well deserved this point. I didn't know this as well. I'm typing in and sometimes I notice and sometimes I don't. But here actually it's 1.10 that they should have scored and 1.06 that Rapid should have scored. So it's a very fair result, well-deserved points, low scoring game as well. That you can see in this last figure, because minus 0.74, this is under expected. So I expected 2.91 goals, or chances for goals, something like that. And there had been just 2.16. And so it's a real under 0-0 fair result. Everything fine. And I would do that for every game. But now we can have a look at the proposals themselves. And I have to record the quality. Alltag, good, obviously, because they were, this is the figure I have to compare it with, and they had been 0.33 goals better than expected, and it had been a bet already, so to say. Admira is a very bad one. I just type in bad here, because Sturm had been 1 goal better than expected. So this was a terrible effort by Admira. And WAC was a good one. I may have noticed that, forget about it, but they were the better side, they just conceded the goals. So 2-1 quality sides. And this is quality I'm recording, right? So I have to, I have to compare that. Austria, over, you see this figure, but now I have to do another comparison, because this is minus, so that would be a bad over. But we have 3.27 goals in that one, so I can check here. whether or not that had been a good bet. And I can check that here because I type in this number of 3.27 goals, and now I have to compare it with a with the line and the price. So over 3, 2.087. I'm afraid that's not a good one. Over 3, that's 1.88. So yeah, I was wrong. Somehow, I don't know. So it was a good one. The true price is Austria over good, Admira over... I don't even know what I really proposed here, to be honest. I'm just checking that, and this is a good one. We are just on 2.9 goals, but it had been a bet. It's a good one. It's good enough. So 2-0 quality over and goal lines, because I keep that separate. Total quality is 4-1, so it's a good quality in my bets. Now I have to, or the proposals, you could say. Altach won, Admira lost, VAC lost. 1-2 record sides, everyone can see what that means. Austria over 1, Admira over 1. 2-0 over and goal lines. I mean, Austria over 4-0, Admira 2-4, right? Those were the results, so they're obvious overs. So total record is 3-2. Total balance. I'm very happy with that, yeah, I have to say. I didn't know that before, and I could always, tell stories, but I don't. And so it's simply, I know that, and I'm going to show you a good result, and I do so as if I wouldn't know. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, I'm gonna enter this here, and I'm actually, well, it's virtually the last step, or the last two, I could say. Oh, no, this is about the gold stats, but I'm gonna show you as well the review of the proposals here, and I'm doing that for every week, match day, and things like that. So the site's quality was 2-1, quality, and the over was 2-0, under, no under, so a total quality of 4-1. You can see here the others had been good records in quality as well. Sites, I lost my 1 unit. It's not taking into account the prices, but the Asian market cares for that. Of course, I need to. And here we have a +2, here we have a 0, and I need a certain percentage to win like that. But usually the market cares for, you just get 1.95 and instead 2.0. That's the average. You get back 1.95 or 1.96 for a winning bet. So you lose more or less 4% on every payout. If I have 2 bets and one is right and one is wrong, then I lost like 2%, you could say, right? No, I lose like 4, well, I don't know really, but it's a small percentage you lose. And you usually end up with an even balance of won and lost bets. And I have to beat that, but everyone would get an even record. If you simply, monkey, he gets an even record. He doesn't get an even quality, or maybe he does, but still he would lose some money. I need a positive record here and there, that's all I can say. But I need a positive one beyond, I would say, 3%, 4%. And then, of course, you need a winning. You don't need to just be even with the market, but you need to beat the market. So at least the 4%, 5%, that's more or less what I'm going for. Doesn't mean I'm achieving it. But that's more or less, that's just proposals, and it's getting more and more complex. And the final, it's not yet the final steps, because there are more things to enter here. But we're approaching that moment. What was my quality? 2-1, 2-0-0-0. So I'm keeping track of that. So we're the 1-2, and here we're the 2-0. That's very simple. That's match day 26, and you can see that. And here you can see how badly I fail in what I'm saying, because this is just 2.31% here. So that's no good. But quality is better, but it's not great, really. So you see I'm not doing so well, or maybe I'm not doing so well in this league, you could say. That's not the record, you know, I'm really proud of. It's rather the opposite. It's a bad record here. And why is it bad? I mean, I can talk for ages about that, but sides quality is no good. Under, horrible, and on over, I'm not really winning. So yeah, this is proposals. I'm repeating that, right? But still, somewhere, yeah, the success is based on the quality of this here. It's a different story about this. Still, I'm gonna show you a little more. Now I typed in this, and I copied this over here, and I was ready to show you rather about the goal stats, and this I'm typing in here. Home sides expected to score 7.3 goals. They should have scored 6.76, so that's clearly less. And they did score 8, so it's pretty close, but they were a bit lucky about that. Away sides expected to score, I'm typing in these values here, right? That's more or less, yeah. And they scored 9. So, and I expected a total of 14.57, and there should have been just 12. That's a pretty, yeah, it's a deviation, let's say, at least. It's a rare, yeah, it doesn't happen that often. Not in that order, right? It doesn't mean a lot, it's just 5 games, and somewhere the balls went in. Austria, Sturm, also Lask. It's usually above the expected or should values. Still, yeah, you have to think about it. Anyway, this is one more step, and I have to keep track of that, and at some point also, of course, compare, yeah, in the long run and the developments and things like that, because, yeah, you have to be alert all the time. And all that VAR stuff, video assistant referee stuff, really messed things up in Germany. You can see that the stats are, yeah, unbalanced. They are somehow, yeah. And you always have to try and find interpretations for that. Yeah, reasons, whatever. And I'm gonna enter this, and it really is the last thing I'm gonna do now, just to show you that it's a bit more work than people might think. That's a different order here, but those two values are pretty close to each other. And also the away sides expected and should, it's just both a bit below, and here it's both a bit above, so you can still say, well, actually, not much harm done. Now we have, I mean, it's just statistical deviation. Still, you have to, yeah, observe those figures in their developments, and also, yeah, if they are like the VAR change. It's a major change. I'm gonna enter this here. This is still the preparation of next weekend, and actually there's still one more step to be done to get that file ready. Here we have the record, the actual record, and here is the development. I show this in a graph. And this graph is a bit messed up. I didn't want to move it, I wanted to stretch it. And what would that say here? We can look at the development, and this development is there had been many goals early on, and then it had been for a while, well, pretty consistently on one level. and then it went down. This is the total goal scores. I mean, you might not know this, but this is, yeah, I look at it every week. And you see the total goals went down, but actually the chances had been there. So if still the goals go down, you can say, well, market would tend to go to unders. So you would have to spy out for overs. That's one consequence here. But still you have to make sure, well, maybe it still is winter, and the chance that you don't take them that easily. I mean, we have FIFA 18, for example, a game I'm playing here, the big title, FIFA 18, the console. And then sometimes they say, this guy, Martin Tyler, asked his co-commentator, what's his name? Again, Andy Smith? No, what's his name? No. And he asked him, well, pitches, this is a bad pitch today, and does it favor the attackers? And this guy answers, yeah, well, it does, because defender slips and you're in, and so on. And this is what they say, but of course it's just, and maybe they don't really think about it, or they just say something. But still, you can always think about it. Does it favor the defenders or the attackers? Usually you would say, well, if it's a bad pitch, what would you say? I mean, you have to come to a conclusion at some point, right? When I say, in general, those pitches are so good. Well, we had some examples in Gladbach and Leverkusen or Köln. Where was it? It was really bad. In Gladbach, I'm sure, but somewhere near there was another very bad pitch. Maybe Köln? Still, if they are really bad, then they usually say, well, we can't play our football at least. And so it does not favor the teams that usually play for football. But it wouldn't favor anyone playing football. It would not, I mean, how would you score a goal? What you see there is you need a very precise shot in the end somewhere. You still have a goalkeeper and things like that. And what you saw recently, sometimes the ball, it bounced unexpectedly. So what would you do as a striker? You fail, that's all. What would the defender do? Well, he wanted to kick it to the outside to throw in, and then it was a corner. Okay, he didn't want that, but it makes no difference, right? He can shoot it anywhere as long as it's not his own goal. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. So I would say it favors defenders, not the strikers, as they claim here in FIFA. But it's a very, I mean, if you come to this conclusion because you watch this one league here, then you're wrong as well. It's just home sides actually going down. That's all you can say here, because that's home goals, and the away goals, they're pretty okay, pretty close all the time. Home sides fail to take their chances. That's all we can conclude for now, and we have to be alert on that as well. And if I can show you, of course, other graphs, and maybe just to give you one example, preview 27, we have that one coming. What would this one say? Well, this one rather says we are clearly above, but it also went down. So you could say also, yeah, winter, autumn, winter, then goals go down. It's not quite the case, but it's just one more example. And here's the away sides that scored many goals, too many, and now it's approaching somewhere where they should be, right? This is the away goals scored, light brown or whatever that is, brown or orange. But anyway, it's the 1 year. And just, I'm not, I didn't prepare that. I'm just showing you one more example. Be alert. It's all that I have to do here, and every week, and you just see market reaction here. I can foresee it. Market will rather be a bit more under. We have that last match there where there were those 17 goals, which make it like lifting it up here, but just slightly. Anyway, and now we're really doing that final step. And what is this final step? It's final. I mean, it's lots of more steps around it, but still there's one more such step. And just to prepare that one file. Okay. And I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna store that. It's a bit slow now, maybe because my QuickTime. I'm gonna store that as a new for the match day 27. because this has been compiled, calculated by my computer. I've exported it, steps for the Sunday night or whenever you wish, but I have to do it at some point. And now I have to enter those values here. And this is the next match day. And it's next weekend. And here we have the preview for that match day in terms of those figures. This is figures by the new system. The old system I'm going to compile later. So there's a couple of more steps. Anyway, I'm just preparing this one file now until it's done. And I'm entering this here. And now I'm done with this. And what I can show you, we talked about this table. It's got to be there because you also have to look at the prospects. Those two have the Champions League. That's also why I put it here, right? Those two, EuroLeague and LASK, are not out of competition at all. I mean, they could go anywhere, but they would be very happy. And Matterspork here, also not out of contention. And Austria, and relegation is pretty boring this season. It's anyway, they play another playoff against the third from the League One because they changed the league format. Doesn't matter. Here are the stats for that. I was discussing that. Here this ranking, which is how well they played. Here's goal stats and the developments and everything you have to keep track of, and also, yeah, be alert, whatever. The bet record, of course, it does have its meaning. If you're not doing well, which is the case here, you would be a lot more careful betting. The real ranking stored, but it has been discussed, and I showed you it makes some sense. But yeah, and the home away, pretty important one. Really, yeah, market would not be that sensible for that. They would notice if a team always win at home and lose away, like Stuttgart did early this season, or things like that. But they wouldn't notice if they play well, or a lower team that you know you couldn't really interpret such mixed records. You couldn't interpret it, and the computer is much more sensible for that. And here's the preview for the next match day, and now we're getting somewhere here later on. This is Computer Price's old system, which I would enter here at some point, and then I could of course compare that, and then I'm gonna track the market, follow European market and the Asian market and things like that. And everything has to be done. We have a full hour, but still I'm gonna leave you with this now, and I hope, of course, yeah, catch your attention and maybe keep you alert as well, but also show you how much work it is. But maybe someone says, okay, that sounds interesting, looks interesting. It's much better and much deeper into things that people really would like to know about football, and it shows a lot more understanding, and not just this. It's also in the end how to beat the market, or where do these prices come from. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with this. Thanks a lot for watching.